All right, cool. You ever had one of those?
No. And the funny part is I totally have like a Fit Aid fucking...
Bring that mic just a little bit closer to you. You have a Fit Aid fridge?
Yeah.
And you guys don't put them out there?
I mean, we got the fridges from... they were like left at the other gym. Actually, I stock it with like, we have like a whole... We probably have like started like, we have like 50 cases of lit sitting at our other gym.
Oh, really?
And like, yeah, like I pretty much just stock that refrigerator. Like, don't get me wrong, like we work through different vendors and we're going to put like other stuff in, but...
Try it out. Try it on camera. First ever taste. Sip the Fit Aid. Say hello to no sucralose.
Not too bad.
You know, it's not too bad, right?
No.
Yeah. It's not the greatest thing either, but it's not too bad.
I don't know, but I feel like in fitness, like...
None of it tastes good.
Yeah. I think we're past that point.
None of it tastes like a Diet Coke. You like Diet Coke?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. Because for me, Diet Coke is like my guilty pleasure. I crack one of those, I'll slug it.
Mexican Coke. Like the original formula, got a Mexican grocery store that has like a restaurant and an ice cream shop like in it, like 2 blocks from my house. That's like tacos and real Coke.
Hell
like,
yeah. He's got a mini El Rey bound.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. Dope. I definitely do.
All right, well, cool. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Counterculture Pod. This is my buddy Adrian. We're going to talk to him today, talk to him about his story, his gym stuff, boxing success, DJ business, so many different endeavors that he's been on, get his story. But Adrian, at the beginning of every podcast, I try to give people their flowers, right? So I try to give you some compliments to just kind of start things off right. And Adrian, I've actually known, I always say this about everybody, I've known this person for this long, but Adrian I've known literally since I was like little nuts, you know? Like,
yeah. Hung out with your older brothers.
Yeah. So like I don't know, I've known you majority of my life. So, but one of the things that I can really say about Adrian, especially paying attention to your social, because you are one of the few people from that area that I still pay attention to the social, just because I feel like we're like-minded and you do similar things. I really, really appreciate your work ethic and seeing how much you care about your kids and shit and how much you're willing to do and put on the line in order to provide for them. That's like a value that I have really, really close to my heart. And I try to kind of mirror the same value in that sense and try to work super hard and mostly for my kid and now both my kids, you know? So.
No, exactly. I mean, to be honest, man, I'm moving my oldest daughter into UW-Madison College. She got a full ride scholarship. Yeah, like full ride scholarship.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You know, like it doesn't like, and she's got extra money. You know what I mean? Like, and just being a struggling parent. I mean, I've had full custody of her since she was 7. She's 19 now.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and they told me that my daughter was retarded.
Really?
Cognitively disabled. That's
you can say retarded.
Yeah, okay. But that's what they told me.
Yeah.
And I asked them, like, so give me the real version of what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely not. Obviously, her mother had some, like, legal issues and problems. But, yeah. So it's, like, crazy now to be like, yeah, you called my daughter a retard and she got a full ride.
That's Madison. Yeah. That's sick, dude. That means that you're doing something right as a parent, though. You know, like, the kid, obviously, she's a hard worker, for sure. She made it to UW-Madison as a full ride. But, I mean, it takes a lot as a parent to get your kid into that mindset to be that student. That's one thing that I really wish my parents actually did for me is I was just not a good student, but I think that my talents are elsewhere. But anyways, what was that like getting the news that she's going to Madison? Did you know? Like,
well, so she applied to all these schools. She got accepted. She was going to go to UW-Milwaukee because that's where my ex went. And she was like happy about it. We were going through it. And then all of a sudden she's like, Dad, I got into UW-Madison. And I'm like, whoa. You know, like, just like, she's been through a lot, like a lot of mental health issues. Like we fought through a lot, like more than I want to, you know, dive into. But like,
we don't have to.
Like where we're at with it, like for her to go from where she was at and all the struggles and everything with the schools and like it's just crazy. Yeah, like I've like went to the thing like it's called SOAR, and I'm like sitting with these other parents who are like 10 years older than me. Yeah. And even if they're my age. It's like completely different lifestyle, like right? Like, what do you do for a living? Like, I'm an IT person. Like, they're all these like technology based and this and that, and then they're like, ask me like, whoa, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I mean, I run boxing gyms and I'm a DJ. Yeah. Like, you know, to them they like kind of like looked at me like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's what I do for a living.
That's gotta feel good though.
Oh yeah,
For
no.
people like that.
Oh, for sure. Like, just the people who are like, and I don't want to call them privileged, but like for the people like and the kids, and I've always told my daughter this. I'm like, you know, growing up in those areas, and I'm pretty sure that you know from going through it, like being a person of color and this and that. And my daughter, she's like mixed, but she's like the whitest of my kids, like blonde hair, blue eyes, but she's gone through a lot. But I told her, like, you know what, for the amount of racism you have to deal with, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're getting the exact same education, the exact same opportunities as these other people.
Yeah.
It's what you do with those opportunities, what you do with that education, that works.
Right.
And she wants to be a social worker, and she's been wanting to be a social worker for like the last 7 years. She's never strayed from the goal.
That's
and
good.
I told her, like, this is follow through.
Yeah.
Like, this is what it looks like. Like, your school's paid for.
Hell yeah.
Like, you got good enough grades for, like, I think the last scholarship she got was from actually Oconomowoc High School, and like it totaled to like $14,000. You know what I'm saying?
They give scholarships at high school?
Yeah,
High
yeah,
school?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, well,
Wow.
Oconomowoc has like an organization that does it, and they pick students
Yeah.
based on this or that. Like when you apply, and like she got like two scholarships from there, and like one we didn't even know it was like over $12,000.
That's
like
fucking
I was
sick,
like,
dude.
and she already had like did all her stuff, and she did it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not bright, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm not that dude. Like, I'm not gonna fill out a bunch of paperwork. That's hard for me.
Sure.
So like she did that, and she made it on, you know, in a sense, like on her own.
Yeah.
People give me a lot of credit for it, but at the same time, like, I didn't do the homework. I didn't do any of that. She figured all that stuff on top of like mental health stuff. So
Yeah.
super proud.
Dude, kudos to your daughter for sure. But she does have to learn that shit from somewhere, right? And if you were the person who had majority, like, not ownership, what do you say? Custody over her for those years, then she definitely learned it from you, you know? So kudos to you too. Was racism something that she dealt with pretty heavy?
Oh yeah, oh for sure. Like
Really?
honestly, the crazy part is there's a few situations I had to go down to school for, and it's like crazy because like if you see my oldest daughter, like you're not gonna see her and like think black, Puerto Rican, or you know like, anything. You know, you're like what? But
Is
actually,
she black and Puerto Rican?
No, she's black and white. But
Oh,
like you know, it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not gonna look at her and think like
Color.
a minority,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people don't. And she's dealt with it a lot, and I've had conversations with higher ups at school, and like basically my thing to them was, first off, they like see me physically, tattoos, this, that, and they like think I'm unintelligent at first until I speak, and I'm like, listen, nothing's changed. It's been 20 some years. My daughter's going through the same system. I'm like, you guys allow the same bullshit to happen. I said, and listen, I'm gonna come up here one time. And I said, I'm not mad at the kid who said this, that, or the other thing. I said, I just want to talk to their parents. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
I'm like, all these things are learned behaviors. I said, do you want to take a blind eye to it? I get it. It's a tough conversation. It's a tough situation. And my daughter's written papers on it, and she's been like really adamant about it. You know, and it's just like these schools in like the lake country areas, they don't want to admit that there's still an issue for kids of color. Like it's like,
Bro.
you know what I mean? Like they just like they act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And when situations happen, you know, money, influence, this, that, and the other thing, like there's no such thing as like whatever privileges, you know what I mean? Like I'm like whatever, you know?
No, dude, let me tell you, I find it so crazy how like normal shitting on minority people is in the area, like Lake Country area, because to me it's like, I mean, you wouldn't look at me and think I was a minority either, you know? I'm like the whitest looking Mexican dude there is, right?
Right.
But like you can attest, I'm super Mexican, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely Mexican. And I grew up like traditionally Mexican, you know, but yeah, even my family and even me, like I dealt with a little bit of that shit too, and with the legal system more so than like anybody else, because they like, you know, obviously my brothers or whatever, and then it like trickled down to me because I grew up in the same town, whatever. But yeah, it like blows my mind the amount of like shit that I hear sometimes, because I work with teenage kids, you know, and I'm like, man, if I could just take you to the blocks I hung out with sometimes, and that would shape you up real quick.
Definitely.
But it is learned and it's normal, you know, it's fucking weird. I'm like,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's okay, like,
Yeah.
and it's funny. Like this one kid little kid. Like I looked at my daughter like, why did you just beat this kid up? Like,
Right,
he's like
yeah.
So he's calling her the N-word through social media. Now I catch up with him. I made my girlfriend at the time come with and videotape our conversation. I find out what house this kid is at.
Yeah.
This kid's never seen me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's like super shocked to see my daughter that didn't see me. And at the time, I'm probably 20 pounds heavier because I'm like walking, trying to be big and younger.
Right.
So I'm talking to the kid and like, you know, I'm not trying to be whatever way, but I said, listen, I get it's America. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I said, the one thing you have to understand is that we're not our ancestors and that there's consequences and repercussions for what you say. Now, I said, my daughter told me that your parents are cool with you being this way. I said, I want your father's phone number.
Yeah.
So I made him call his dad. The dad did not answer. I left a message. I said, you know, explain the situation. Like, obviously, like you're teaching your kid at school to say the N-word. I think that me and you should have a conversation in person with each other about that.
Yeah.
Because you need to teach your kid that there's consequences and repercussions for your actions.
Right.
And I was like, you know, I'd like to talk to you about that. Now, we both know that dad never called me.
Hell no. Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, but why wouldn't he? Like, I pressed his kid. I mean, I went up there. I almost felt bad, like almost. Because I could tell this kid was like shaking in his boots.
Yeah.
Like, he was like all of like 90 pounds.
He saw a black dad for the first time ever too.
Right,
like,
like,
you know?
right. And and I was calm. Like, I wasn't even mean. I said, hey man, I just want to talk to you. And it's like, I could just see that look of like, it just got fucking real.
Yeah.
I'm like, you live in a very privileged town where you don't suffer those consequences, but like in the real world, like I explained to my daughter, I said, when you go out into the world and you're not in Lake Country, you're gonna realize like race is viewed differently.
Different, yeah, for sure. I mean, even so, I think that one of the biggest problems is that like so many people have never been punched in the face.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
So like they've never been like, dude, I've been jumped, like fully jumped before. And I've never been beat up, thank God. But like I've been jumped and I got my way out of there, you know? But like it's crazy because like the minute that you finally realize my life is in danger, your attitude completely changes. And that's something that these Lake Country kids will never ever understand because they don't even like make their way to the city for anything besides a Bucks game or whatever. And then they're like sitting in box seats or they're in nice seats. They don't get to be with like the other people, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. And it's different. Like I always say that, like, especially like I have friends who tell me like, oh man, why don't you open a boxing gym in Oconomowoc? Like, I'm like, for what? I'm like, those kids don't want to fight.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, maybe a boxing fitness gym.
Yeah.
But I was like, those kids don't want to fight. I'm like, you have to have like a chip on your shoulder or something going on.
Yeah.
To want to do boxing.
Yeah, 100%.
Or be 100% just competitive. You have to be like the Tom Brady. Like, I had everything provided for me, but I'm just that hyper competitive that I want to do this sport that's me, myself, and I in the ring with another person.
Yeah, there's two jiu-jitsu gyms. One is actually a mixed martial art gym. I'll give them their flowers. Open Guard in Oconomowoc, and they're really good. But like when you look at who the class for like the Muay Thai classes consisted of, it's never like some like super badass dudes. You know what I mean? It is kids that you figure are probably bullied or whatever, and they just want the bullying to stop. You know, and those are the kids that like go, and that's a really really good thing. But you're right, like those kids, most of those kids don't actually want to fight. You know, the Lake Country privileged kids, it's just the kids that get bullied that they don't even want to fight either. They just want the shit to stop and know that they can protect themselves. So yeah, I think you're probably right on that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the biggest thing. Like I tell you, like, you know, I've been traveling the U.S. with professional fighters, and I've been invited internationally, and just like seeing the different cultures, like California, like the gritty, like Philly, you know, like running the steps and the Rocky thing. But like, dude, Philly is a grimy city. Like, boxing's a dirty game. Like when you're in like the back cuts and like you really see what like boxing is and like where these kids come from. And,
you gotta be a dog.
Yeah, you know, you just gotta have something that you want to fight for.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's why boxing gyms, they do so much better in like urban settings. Or like even my Watertown one does really well. Mm-hmm. But I mean, 99.99% of my students there are Hispanic.
I was just gonna say that.
You know, like, and it's crazy because like you look at the jiu-jitsu mat, 95% of those students are Caucasian. Which, and there's like nothing wrong with that, but it's just like crazy because like one half of the gym, like, you know, when we're playing music, it's like traditional Mexican music and like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like everyone always thinks I'm Puerto Rican. They're like, if I go to other gyms, they're like, what's this Puerto Rican doing with all these Mexican kids? You know what I mean?
Because they don't like each other, right?
Right, and it's crazy too. When we first started showing up to these gyms a few years ago, like Watertown, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of Watertown? Like when you think of the name of that, like when you think, what kids do you think are coming to fight at your gym?
Well, I mean, I know Watertown, so I know it's a lot of Mexican people out there. But I would think like just hearing it, probably like white kids, right? You know,
right.
Just like Hickville, like broken down truck shit, you know. Yeah, for sure. That's what I thought in high school. But then when I grew up and I actually got to be in Watertown a little bit, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of Mexicans here, dude.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very diverse, and I mean, and it's diverse with Mexican culture, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, you have African American culture, but like, I'm gonna just be realistic about it. Like, as a black person, I don't enjoy a lot of the black people I meet there because they're not a good representation of who we are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no.
There's a lot of Section 8 housing there, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not saying Section 8 housing is bad. Like, I'm just saying, like, some of the people there, like, you know, they're all the black people that, like, inspire white people to call us niggers. I'm just going to keep it real. Like, you know, they're like people, like, there's a few good ones, like Lorenzo, he's a business owner there. That guy's great.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But, like, a lot of them that I meet there or, like, run into and talk to, like, I can be friendly, but, like, we're not going to be friends.
Right.
Because knowing you brings me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't have a conversation with you that's going to lead to, like, a business idea or making money or doing whatever. And I feel like at this point in my life, like, if you're not on the level of trying to do that or trying to be a better person, like, and you're just going to make our culture look as stupid as, like, some of the music that comes out now and this and that, like, I'm just not with it.
I feel like that's, like, every race has that, like, kind of portion of it, though, right? Like, as, like, a white dude, like, being white, like, I don't want to hang out with white dudes that are just, like, super white and, like, say the N-word and shit, you know? Because, like, to me, it's not cool. Like, I grew up with black friends. Like, I grew up in, like, where that word's not acceptable. Like, I hung out with kids where that's not acceptable, you know? And so, like, yeah, so I don't want to be with those white dudes, but, like, other white dudes, I'm all right with being around, you know? And then, like, same thing with, like, Hispanic people. Like, I don't want to be around the Hispanics, like, let's keep it G, that are cheating on their girlfriends all the time, because that's a big Mexican thing, if we're being real about it, that are drinking all the time. I don't want to be with those people because, like, my values don't align with that. Like, I want to make money. I want to be faithful to my girl, unless she lets me have more girls. I'm just kidding. This is a joke. Totally kidding. But, yeah. So I think no matter what race you are, if values don't align, I get what you're saying for sure, 100%. Right. I get what you're saying because there's stereotypes for everybody, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit on a podcast. What?
They're there for a reason. Like, stereotypes are there for a reason because there's people in every culture that fit them to the T.
Right.
You know what I mean? But and it's like, I don't get it, like, when people get offended about that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm black and white, right?
Yeah.
So it's like people get offended, like, well, you're making a stereotype. But there's stereotypes for a reason because there's somebody who's making that stereotype true. It doesn't mean that I am. Yeah. It just means, like, there's this stereotype out here, and, like, in the 90s we could joke about that. Like, early 2000s,
you could still
we could joke about that. Like, now we can't really like, we can't make jokes about it, you know?
Dude, that's a big thing for, like, my podcast too, if I'm keeping it 100. Like, I want to be honest about everything and, like, no filter. Like, dude, I just think that the culture that we've gotten into is just so fucking lame. Like, we can't even talk about shit like that, like a stereotype. And, like, it's not saying that the stereotypes are good.
Right. Like, yeah, right. We're not saying it's a positive thing, but
like,
it exists.
Acknowledging them, it doesn't mean that you think it's good. It just means that it is what it is. And, like, you're just not. And, like, yeah, sure, we can do all this shit to, like, shift the culture and change it and stuff, but that doesn't mean that it still doesn't exist, you know?
Right.
Just because you're a dude who, like, eats mostly carnivore diet doesn't mean that Oreos don't fucking exist. You know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly.
Like, they're still there. So, anyway, yeah. I don't want to talk about race for too long. I think that was really good and stuff. I want to talk more about you. But thanks for sharing that. So, obviously, we've known each other for a very long time. And Adrian said this before we actually even got on the pod, that he gave me my first training job, which is super, it's true. And it's super funny that, like, it kind of all, like, comes back full circle, right? Because you were the first training job that I ever got before I even, like, wanted to really do training, like, fitness entrepreneurship. Dude, I tell this story so many times about you that you were the first time that I was ever like sales. Like, I like sales. And the story goes, Adrian said, he pulls me in, I had to shadow you, I think for like a week or something. I had to shadow you. You pulled me into one sale with you, and you made this woman work out. She's chubby, she's African American from, wherever. Where was that? That was Juneau, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's the area that we were in Milwaukee. Anyway, you take me in, you train this girl, and then we get back in the office, right? And you're like, you literally said to me before we get in the office, you're like, watch this. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, what's going to happen? And so I've never been more uncomfortable in my life. Because you look at the woman, and you told her the price and stuff, and she said no. You look this bitch dead in the face, and you go, you're going to die. Like that. And you're like, you smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and you said this, and you're like, you're going to die. And I was like, no, he did not just say that. She signed the papers.
Yeah, man.
Where'd you get that confidence to do that?
The biggest thing about sales, it's like, so when I first started, right, like
Yeah.
I got that job randomly, right?
Okay.
And the guy was like, it's kind of like when you get that boss who's like, hey, make an impact. That's what I was told at that gym. Like, here you go. Here's this gym.
Yeah.
Make an impact. But I'm not going to tell you how to do sales. So, yeah, right?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name was Dan. Total dick.
Okay.
Hope he sees this. But, so I had to come up with my own way. But, like, I believe in being, like, honest and direct, right?
Yeah,
because
for
here's
sure.
the thing. Criers are buyers.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
They are. Criers are buyers, and you know what I'm saying? Triers are liars, okay? No, I'm going to try to do this. No, you're lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you need to pull emotional stuff out because, like, everybody works out for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us want to look better naked.
Yeah.
Some of us want to play with our kids. But, you know what I mean? So you kind of find what that is, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, for someone like that, like, you're sitting in there, like, here's somebody who has the income to improve their health, right? Like, to live longer, to live a higher quality of life. But smokes cigarettes, does this, does that. Like, oh, so you can't afford, like, let's just say, like, I think the lowest package we had there was like $100 a month.
Yeah.
So you can't afford $100 a month for training, but you can smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a week.
Right. Yeah.
Cigarettes are like $8 a pop.
Right. So you're spending $16 a day on cigarettes for 30 days.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're telling me, like, you probably drive like a really nice car, this or that. And it's not like against whatever, but I just got the confidence because, like, what's the worst thing that they're going to say to you? No.
Right, yeah.
Right. You're going to walk into my office and you're going to think I'm a dick, but you know what? You're going to think I'm a dick if I don't tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Like, when you're like 5'2", and this is like the tough part, like certain communities, like, you're 5'2", you're 180 pounds, and like people are walking around telling you you're thick. Like, and this, that, and the other thing. Like, okay, let's tell ourselves stuff to feel better about it, right?
Oh, you're saying like it's like for women, they're like told like we'll just keep it real. For women, they're like celebrated.
Right.
More,
You're celebrated for being whatever. And I'm like not knocking anybody who's overweight. Like, some people take it the wrong way, but it's like, but are you happy?
Yeah.
Are you really happy?
No.
You know what I mean? And that's why I got bold. That's why I started telling people the truth. Because the worst thing they're going to do is think that I'm a jerk, think that I said something mean and insensitive. But at the end of the day, did I lie?
No. Fuck no. I say that shit so much too, where I'm like, look, I'd rather tell the truth and be an asshole for 2 minutes than have to live with the guilt of lying to somebody and then them finding it out. And I've been a dick then for like a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. Just always telling the truth. That's like a principle that I live by for sure, especially with sales.
And like, health is wealth, right? Like, I tell people, like, most people want a Lamborghini or a Mercedes or whatever, and like the one thing
I can't put these dogs on the
that
screen for free.
the one thing that I've always learned is like my body is like my Mercedes Benz. I got 3 kids by 3 different women. You know what I mean? Like, my family is like the most important thing to me. My children, that's my biggest investment is my kids and myself, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I invest in my health. So like my body is my Lamborghini until I can afford one.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'd rather have this be healthy and drive my busted Kia for right now than have a really nice car, have all this money, but I'm going to die in 5 years.
Yeah, that doesn't make
You know what I mean?
sense.
It makes no sense at all whatsoever. So it's like, I just learned to be honest because I had these sales jobs before that were like high pressure. Like if you had a bad 2 weeks, you were fired.
Yeah.
You know?
Where at? Where are you doing?
So I'm trying to remember the name of the company, but like we basically sold like TV and stuff, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? And we were a retailer on top of that, right? So like you would get X amount of calls, you have to close X amount, and you have to finish in like the green or the yellow every week.
Damn.
So if you like are in the orange or the red, 2 weeks in a row, you're fired. Like you get in your cubicle, you pack up your shit, you go.
Yeah.
Like
That's
purely
crazy.
sales. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your paycheck, like 80% commission.
Yeah.
Like if you don't make no sales,
like you're fucked.
Like you're screwed.
Yeah,
like you're not eating that week.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've just learned to be ultra aggressive. Like I remember I had another trainer like you. He was a guy really into fitness. I talked him out of accounting, and he actually runs a really successful training business in San Francisco.
Wow, cool.
So it's crazy because like you're an entrepreneur now. He's an entrepreneur. Like everybody I work with at Blast, like my buddy Chuck, he's a fitness entrepreneur. He was just on like Fox 6 for doing stuff, and like he runs like he's got mad businesses. He like cuts hair, like multiple things like you. And it's crazy because like everybody I've worked with or touched, I feel like at Blast, went on to do like great things. Like anybody who had like any whatever about them, just like skyrocketed. Like once we left that company, everybody like leveled up to where they needed to be at.
100%, yeah.
So it's just like I lost where I was at. But like at the end of the day, it's just doing what you need to do. It's getting into that mindset. Like, you know, it's like an addiction. I'm sure it is for you. Like once you like really get into sales and you like realize that you're getting at it every day, like it's awesome.
Bro, it's a high because like I'm not rich by any means, but I do fairly like okay. You know, today I closed 2 things that I was like, I like made close to $4,000 in 30 minutes, you know, or an hour. And I was like, holy shit, dude. It's just like the biggest high that you can get. I'm not saying that happens all the time because it definitely doesn't. Like, I'm not crushing sales like Grant Cardone, you know, but like, I'm doing all right. Like I can do fine for myself. But yeah, and that's not even involved in my gym business, you know what I mean? But it does become addictive. And I think to your credit, I think that you probably have like a really good eye for people, at least when you talk to them, that you know like have potential, and that's why you probably chose those people to come work at Blast with you.
Oh, definitely. Like everybody I chose was somebody that I felt was better than me. Had the potential. I was like, dude, like a little grooming, like they're gonna be better than me. And like everyone I did, like got a position. Like I had one guy, Will Warren, and he's got his own fitness thing in Milwaukee too now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like real estate business and this and that. We would be like literally neck for neck, sale for sale. There are some months he'd do a little bit better than me, but it was like friendly competition. Yeah. But like I knew he was gonna be a manager somewhere else, and he got there. You know, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go over here and be the manager over here. You know? Yeah. And like that's how it was. Like, and like we'd crush it. Yeah. Because my biggest thing is like, if you're gonna have a team, what kind of leader are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you a leader that wants to see people improve and wants to see people be better? Because you're only as strong as your weakest link.
I agree with you 100%. I think where a lot of people go wrong too is that they don't realize that there's enough for everybody to eat. So as like a true leader, what I think that you need to do is you need to try to build people up to be better than you. You need to cultivate people that can make more money than you. Not just for the simple fact that like, let's say that you have some sort of business where it's set up to incentivize people to make more money because that makes you money residually or whatever. But because if you do that, they see the value with you, and then they want to be loyal to you and stay with you long term too. You know, so it's a win-win situation.
Definitely. I mean, here's the thing: what do you want to be the leader of? Like a bunch of people that you're better than? Like your business can't grow.
No. Fuck.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You want a bunch of sharks. You want people who are going to leave you. Yep. If you're picking good people, if you're finding good people, they're eventually going to leave, and it's okay. Yeah. Because the superpower of a really great leader and a great business person is to be able to keep finding people and to train people. Because some people are just really good at doing something. They're like missiles. You can point them at something and it destroys it, right? But who's building the missiles? Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when you have the superpower, like, hey, I can take you and teach you sales. I can teach you fitness sales. I can teach you how to be confident, sell yourself. and then sell others. Like in fitness, like that's the thing. As like personal trainers, we start out like I'm selling myself as a person, right? And like I've seen your progression naturally. Like I remember when you first started, your attitude and mentality. Then seeing you at B. See, you were like 15 levels higher at B because I could see that in you. Just like I don't know if you could see it in me. Yeah. We were both sitting at positions in this place, and that was stagnant for us. We were like sitting there like, we're better than this.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, we need to just get out of this rut. Like this security of like that guaranteed paycheck, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That fallback.
Dude, he's the other person though. So there's two people. I mean, I have a ton of mentors throughout my life. I think that's super important. But bringing up Derek. Was he the manager when you were there too, or was it just Nick?
Yeah, no, Derek. No, okay. I remember Derek. Yeah, dude.
Derek animal. Animal. He's the second guy that, like, besides you, then it's Derek that I feel like actually impacted the way that I like go about selling people, and I go about like business in general. Because he like you said, he's a monster, dude. He's a shark, but he cares about people too.
Right.
You know, and that was one thing that he really drove home to me was like, you gotta care. Like, don't like, this is the takeaway, the biggest takeaway. If you're in fitness sales and you're at a gym, this is so important. I closed every single sale because of this. I don't think I missed one sale after his training. It was, he told me don't do the museum tour, which is like, you walk people around, like at like a big box gym, your manager will probably tell you, walk people around the entire place, show them how cool the facility is. Nobody gives a fuck about the entire place. They don't care. What matters to them? You focus on what matters to them. So like you were saying before, right? Like you have to hit an emotional portion of them. So the thing that he told me is like, okay, if they're looking for Les Mills training, don't even take them to where the open gym area is. Don't take them to the machines and stuff because that's not what they're here for. Take them to our studios. Like show them how beautiful our studios are. Show them how beautiful our cycling studio is. How big is it? Because they have an actual Les Mills room.
Oh yeah.
No. So take them to that. If that's what they're there for, the class setting, you take them there first. You can show them the rest of the shit if you want to later, but you take them there first. You don't even have to show them the other stuff. I attribute all the sales that I closed there just to that one tip that he gave me.
No, most definitely, man. That guy was a beast. Yeah. You know, and then it's like going into your own thing, and like that's like that biggest risk. Like me going into my own thing, like that was like it was like forced. Yeah. Like you know what I mean? Like to be honest with you, I remember telling my business partner now, back in the day. Yeah. He's like, man, just come be my partner. Come do something with me. Yeah. And I remember telling him, because I think I was working at Blast. I was like, oh man, dude, you work too hard. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, right. And like, and now I look at like how stupid I was, like spending like 6 days a week on somebody else's dream to get a crumb, right? Yeah. So it's like, I think, getting it started and everything, like, I ended up going through like a breakup with my ex, right? And the first time around, it happened twice, right? But the first
you're not with her anymore?
No. Okay. She actually she just gave birth to her to another kid with her new guy.
For
like,
real?
And we've probably been apart like just over a year.
That's crazy.
And you're like, yeah. But like everything, but I'm like one of those people like everything happens for a reason, right? Yeah. So that happened for a reason, and like. The second time around, like my energy was different. I was just like, oh man, you were stopping me from my goals. Because it was like one of those things like where people don't realize like there are going to be people in your life that are going to stop you from your goals. And it could be the person sleeping next to you. It could be a family member. It could be anybody. And like you just like, it's hard to learn how to like cut people out and like see those energies. Because like
energy vampires, dude.
Right. Like, so the year we broke up before, I started the boxing gym. In an area no bigger than this, all right. That's like crazy. My guy George, he's like, hey man, come do it, and I literally did it for free just so me and my son could train. So for like a whole year, the first year of Old School Boxing Club, I think I made $300.
That's nuts.
You know what I mean? I would personally train in the morning, sand and refinish floors by day, and my homeboy owned the spot, Platinum Plus Flooring, right? And he would let me leave an hour early to go train like 4 or 5 days a week.
That's crazy, dude.
You know, like that's to go do the gym, right? So we keep going through these progressions, like, and it's a passion thing, right? You know, and it was like, I think the one thing that motivated me is my ex called it a passion project. She's like, well, that's cool that you do that, but that's a passion project. That's not a business. You know what I mean?
They always try to dig somehow, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then when we started moving up, we opened like a little back room, but then we moved locations like a year ago, and now like I bought myself a boxing ring, my own boxing ring.
That's sweet.
We have signature bags, like, you know, all the
Yeah.
bags have like these emblems on them.
Say the name.
Old School Boxing Club.
Yeah.
We're under DEFCOM, so if you look up DEFCOM, we got locations in Fort Atkinson, Watertown on Stimson Street. We do MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing gets done there.
All encompassing.
Yeah, and like our Oak Creek location at 7340 Howell Avenue, we have like Bear Bennett's, the wrestling coach there, and like MMA guy. Like, dude,
Yeah.
he's a legit bare knuckle boxer.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm
Got
saying?
some accolades
He
there.
legit just signed a deal with the UFC and does power slap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like these are the dudes that are at the gyms we're
Yeah.
at. Like, the other coach, Nick Fisher, like, so Old School Boxing Club, basically we absorbed another gym. It was MKE Boxing Club. Like, this guy has Boxers Make Boxing, so it's BMB promotion. So
Okay.
like they're a pro boxing promotion.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like, so we just did a huge event at like the Harley Museum.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like we just had a fighter go fight on the zone.
That's
on
sick.
the overtime.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like
That's
just this
awesome.
last weekend.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
With
we're making
Jake Paul.
Yeah, right. Like that's the thing. Like, we're making these moves and we're building this culture at this gym, and it's gonna be awesome. Like, we're putting in a tattoo shop there.
That's
like
sick.
you know, like
Yeah.
a fighter gym where you can go do CrossFit there.
Yeah.
You can do your wrestling there. You can do MMA there.
Yeah.
You can do boxing there. And like, we have 2 acres in back. We have a pond to run around. Like,
That's
it's
crazy.
like ridiculous.
Is it swimmable? Like,
Huh?
can you swim in it?
I mean, I wouldn't, but yeah, I'm sure
You guys gotta
can.
get that going, dude. Because I'll come visit you. I'll practice my swimming in there.
You know, but I mean, it's awesome, and it's just the start.
Yeah.
Like, we have like lighting and stuff in the ceiling and everything for like shows. So like, we're
That's
gonna be
sweet.
doing shows there. We have like a concessions window. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
like everything we're doing, like, we're just moving forward.
Yeah. We gotta talk about that come up though, because we have kind of a similar story then too, because basically how my training business started was I was detailing cars at the time. I was crushing it for like a kid that was 21 years old. I was making 75K, close to 80K at that point. But one day I walked into my gym that I would, you know, my coach, Kirk, Winter's Edge, right down the road from here. He caught me coming in one day, and he's like, dude, you fucking hate that job, bro. And I was like, yeah, I do. You're right. And this is before B Fitness actually too. And so I was like, yeah, you're right, I do. He's like, why don't you just do this? Like, come here, train people, and figure it out. And I was like, you know what, dude, yeah. I'm 21. I got nothing to lose. I'm fucking sending it. I'm going for it. And then I picked up at B Fitness too to supplement my income a little bit more.
Most
But the
definitely.
first year, yeah, I was lucky if I made $1,000 a month training people. And then gradually it got to the point where I was able to like really sustain my business. I was able to quit B Fitness. I remember I was grinding. B Fitness, I'd get up at like 4:45 because we'd open the door at 5:30. So I'd go do that. Eventually I got promoted to sales at B Fitness because Derek was there. He wanted me to do sales. So I was there in the morning taking sales calls and doing sales meetings until like 9 a.m. Then I'd go hustle at Winter's Edge, handle my clients from like 10 or whatever till noon. I'd come back to be on my lunch. I'd eat lunch and I'd be doing sales there, or sales calls from like noon to 2:30. And then I'd go back to Winter's Edge. I'd like be training people. And then I'd pop back over to be again to finish out the day until 9 p.m. most days. That's how like at least 4 out of 7 days looked for me until I built my business up to where I could be, or to where I could like financially be like, all right, I'm good. I could leave this job, even though I was making a considerable amount of money at B actually. But I left because I was like, I'm good. I'm gonna be able to do this training thing. I got it. And actually, one of the things that motivates me a lot too, we can get into this if you want to, was a girl as well. Because my girl at the time was like so upset that like all I did was work and like hustle. Like multiple times I have had that brought up to me, not just from her. And like I finally got into a relationship now, Heather, my love, but she's like, you got to do whatever you got to do. Like we're sitting here right now at 9:36 at night, you know, doing a pod. But Yeah, I think that a lot of times for dudes especially, it is like a woman that changes the mindset, because you're like, holy shit, this woman was taking out all of my energy and my time, and now I realize I gave her all that energy that I could have been spending into other things. But anyway.
Exactly, though. Yeah. But I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Listen, I am single for that reason to this day. Like, it's not that I don't have the opportunity to be with women and this and that, but it's literally the energy thing. It's like literally, like, I've gone into a couple relationships and said, like, listen, these are my goals. This is what I want to do. I'm very focused on this. And, like, if you're with it, cool. But, like, this is what it is. Like, I do work all the time. And I'm probably the time I'm off or, like, have the free time to do stuff. If you have a 9-to-5 job, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
And that was, like, a huge part of, like, why me and my ex didn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and despite, like, in a sense, I guess it not ending positive for me, like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't want to say she did anything wrong, but, you know what I mean? Like, she did me kind of bogus, but at the same time, like, I felt like I needed that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
To
like,
push you into the next step.
Yeah, to push me to the next step, to show me what it is. And, like, it's awesome because, like, I do hope to one day, like, be like you and find that person who's like, like, I totally get it. Like, you're hustling, you know, for a greater good. But until then, like, I've definitely just focused my energy purely on my kids and my business.
Dude, I tell young dudes especially all the time, don't get into any relationships until, like, you are financially stable and able.
Facts.
Like,
and that's why mine ended. Like literally, my business, I was working for myself and I hit the worst 3 months of business. I was in a situation where, like, I got shot at work and, like, I came home.
You got shot?
Yeah. Look at that thing, right?
What?
So, but, like, literally, like, I was DJing. I caught the shot. I finished the gig, actually. I can't, like, go into all the details of it because I don't want anyone to get in any trouble.
Yeah.
But, like, I literally packed up my shit, tried to call
her
after.
Can I clip that and put that on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because that'll catch
So,
some
like,
views
I
for
finished
sure.
my fucking set.
Yeah.
Packed my shit up, bro, right? I had, like, sweats on, you know what I mean?
Holy shit.
And luckily, it, like, didn't shatter the bone. Like, it basically went through this person and hit me. And so basically, like,
what
I packed up and I go home, right?
Yeah.
I wake up my ex and I'm like talking to her and, like, dude, all this chick says to me, she never asks if I'm okay. She's just like, well, are you gonna call the police? Are you gonna do this and that? I'm like, yo, I'm bleeding.
I got
like,
shot,
like never once, like, are you mentally okay? Or are you whatever?
Yeah.
And it was like that moment, like, of true clarity where I realized, like, I was alone. And, like, then I gave, like, a realistic version of my financial situation, like, 3 weeks after that, because, like, things were not going well. And bam, my relationship was done. Like, I was asked to, like, move out, do this, that, and the other thing. And I just went, like, because, like, I seen, like, all those things. Like, like, I got shot and you didn't even care if I was okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Like, and I took care of it myself. She watched me in the kitchen bandage and clean the shit myself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Weird.
Like,
what the fuck?
You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, my grandfather told me, he's like, listen, Adrian, he's like, I know it seems shitty, but he's like, sometimes you need bad things to happen to you to see how people truly feel about you.
Yeah. Fuck.
He's like, even though it's a crappy situation, he's like, aren't you glad that this happened? Because look at where you're at now. Because it's a year later, right? Mm-hmm. So a year later, my passion project is a real fucking business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I couldn't have done it without that.
Yeah.
And then there's one thing I want to bring up. So we do this Stand Tall program, right?
Okay.
For our businesses.
Yeah.
So, like, we raise money for kids who can't afford memberships.
That's cool.
Because, like, and, like, when we go to tournaments, when we go to shows, so we get stuff and we sell it under retail. And since you're, you know, very fitness based, I brought you a swag bag.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I want you to check it out.
Yeah,
let's do a reveal.
Yeah.
But all of the stuff that you're getting here, we have in abundance. People can hit us up. We're on Instagram. It's a Stand Tall.
Cool.
Stand Tall project, right?
I'll put links in the description.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I'll send you the information.
Yeah.
But hey, man, let's do this reveal.
Yeah,
I brought some stuff for you.
Dope. Cool. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. The bag is mine too.
Yep, the bag's yours too. It's all that. So
That's
the bag's
cool,
yours, and, like,
This thing,
there's stuff
this thing
in
is
it.
durable, dude.
Yeah, no, it's real nice.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited.
So you probably want to like, unzip it. There's a few things in there.
Tristan, how jealous are you right now?
It's pretty sick.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. It's a lever belt? Like it's got the
Yeah, I got the levers in there, bro.
Oh,
yeah, it's
sweet.
in there,
That's
man.
Sick, dude. I like that. That's cool. So where do you guys get this stuff from again?
So like we get this stuff donated to us.
Wow.
You can take
Dragon Ball shirt?
No, check them out. They're shorts.
Oh, these are
They're workout
shorts?
shorts. Yeah, like all this stuff is like fitness and workout based. Like yeah, dude, check them
hell
out,
yeah,
man.
dude. No shot. Dude, these are sick, bro. Holy shit. Wait. What the fuck? Is that Broly? I think that's fucking Broly, dude.
Go ahead, open it up,
Yeah,
man. Check this one out.
This is cool, dude. Hell yeah. These are sick too. Damn, dude. With the liner.
Yeah, like so.
Tristan will wear his underwear with these. How weird do you think that is? He puts underwear and liner shorts on. Dude, hell yeah. Hold on. We got a little bit more in here. What is this? Irish sea moss. What's that?
You never tried that?
No. All right, we're back live on video. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. This is a quick reminder to myself: delete the past 5 minutes, just for reasons that don't need to be spoken of. But okay, dude, I really, really appreciate all this gear. I'm super pumped about it. Those shorts, especially, like, I'm gonna wear them to fucking lifetime tomorrow and just crush a nice leg workout. You want to see these?
Yeah.
Look at these.
Yeah, no. And like when I say like we have bins of these. Like I think I have 20 bins of shorts.
Really?
We have sweatpants. We have so much merch. That,
So
like,
check
people
this
can
out. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna put the link in the description. Instagram, I'll somehow try to put a link to your guys' stuff.
Yeah, no,
Or
definitely.
I'll tag you guys or collab you guys on a post or something. We'll talk about that after. And then support a good cause, man. Help these kids get into combat sports. It's good. It helps stop bullying. People need to get punched in the fucking face sometimes so that they stop bullying people.
Yeah.
Straight up. So look at these things.
Oh my god, those are right up your alley.
Yeah, she's like, you fucking nerd, dude.
Right. I got like,
Sick.
dude, don't worry. I got like the Baki ones, bro. I'm
hell yeah.
always
Hell
flexing.
yeah.
And I'm not even into anime like
Yeah.
that. Like my son's just like, cause he's
Yeah.
like an athlete and stuff.
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, dad. Like I think he's like got like 13 pairs of shorts. Like we
For real?
literally have like every anime series there is in lifting belt and shorts.
That's sick. I just nerded out super hard, like this gym owner that I haven't really, like, we have like a online relationship kind of where we talk to each other, but he has a whole Naruto sleeve, and so I nerded the fuck out. I was like, bro, your sleeve. This is the first time I'm meeting it. I'm like, that's sick. But hold on, I gotta pull this up.
No,
But yeah, bro, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna put this stuff to good use for sure. That bag too. That bag is mine.
Yeah, no,
Losers.
it's a real swag bag,
Yeah,
right?
it's sick, bro. Yeah. So okay, so how did let's rewind a little bit. So you get into it kind of because like your buddy asked you to come do business with him, and then your motivation comes from the girl thing happening, right? The woman.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been motivated.
Yeah.
Like, I always like wanted to work for myself, and like with my DJ business, Beatfinity Productions, like I'd already been working towards that goal. So
Yeah.
I'd already like kind of like honed my skills, worked for other people. You know, had a family member go like, dude, you just need to do this yourself. You've been DJing for years, just do it. So it's like right now, like we have a year-long contract with Vino, etc.
Sweet.
You know,
sick. It's good.
We got contracts with other bars in the area. I produce pretty much all of the professional and amateur boxing in Wisconsin, period.
That's sick.
So it's like to lights, smoke, the walkout, like
That's
all
cool.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
You know how to put on a show.
yeah, no, definitely. Like, you
That's
know, and you know, we put on this series called Border Wars.
Mm-hmm.
In Watertown.
You fight in that sometimes, don't you?
Yeah. I fought in a
Cool.
couple of them. Yeah,
Alright.
I fought over in Pittsburgh actually.
Nice.
Which I love Pittsburgh because I'm
Yeah.
a big Steelers fan, but we fought at like Steve Cunningham's gym,
Okay,
like
cool.
who was like the cruiserweight champion.
Dope.
I fought in Florida.
Yeah.
But like even like with that, right? Like that's what got me into like boxing. Like I was already into boxing, right? But like that gave me a lane. Like my biggest thing about business and getting into this boxing thing and my real come up is I said to myself, I need to get in this sport and I need to do it any way I can. So like I had this boxing gym, but there's mad people who got boxing gyms. Like, dude, I'm the young buck. Like there's so many great established gyms. Like Oscar Medina, like dude, I love Oscar. Like honestly, a lot of stuff I have in my gym, I either bought from Oscar or he like gave to me.
That's sweet.
Like that guy is the standard for like helping other people in the boxing community. Like not only is he like a super successful business guy, like he's the dude, like, when I want to know about boxing stuff and money and how to make money, like, he's, like, the first guy I really
you go talk to him?
Yeah.
That's
like,
cool.
That guy's got so much knowledge, and, like, a lot of the stuff in my gym that I got, like I said, I got at a deal of a price, or, like, I would buy, like, one thing from him, and he'd, like, bring me 5.
That's
you know
so
what I mean?
cool.
So that guy's awesome, like, and then, like, Conflict Sports, Andre Sawyer, dude, they got an awesome program. They're, like, on the north side of Milwaukee. Like, he was like the first dude to drive out to Watertown to like spar with my guys in a little corner.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, so like we go down there. Nick Fisher, who's now with me, like MK Boxing, and then like Ricky Ruiz, like his son just went pro. That's like, cool. Dude, his son's a beast. Like Ricky Jr., he's like fighting in Florida. Coming up soon, and I'm sure he'll be fighting in this other card, September 23rd. BMB, Boxers Make Boxing. I said they're going to be doing a show too.
Hell yeah.
But like that's how, like, you got to find your in places. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're the new kid, you kind of smell funny. No one really wants to mess with you because they don't know how long you're going to be around. Like you could just be this flash in the pan thing, but you have to have like a business plan. So like my biggest thing was, so I got in and I started charging like way less than it's probably worth. But like producing and DJing these boxing shows. Because I was giving them fair prices. Like, you know, like any other DJ would probably be like right out the gate, like I want $2 or $3 grand. You know, to produce and do this. Like, you know, where I was just like doing it for way less. You know, I'm like, hey, no, I'm going to get into this and I'm going to establish myself in the culture through this. You know, like I just got hired to go out to Vegas for the big fight weekend. Like, that's Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? Earl Spence Jr. Like I DJ'd a private night, like a private party the night before. The president of the WBC, the undisputed like lightweight champion Alicia Baumgardner was there.
Cool.
Like Mario Barrios, like the who's who of boxing was in the building. Like, dude, like my gym crush, Marciela Cogneo, she was there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I totally got to meet her, take a picture with her, all that. Like I totally didn't try to like shoot a shot or anything because I'm not like not like a creepy dude. Right. But it was just like,
but you wanted to be a creepy dude.
A little bit, but like a little bit, you know what I mean? But like, you know, like you gotta be professional and all that. And but it's just like there were so many, like Brian Mendoza was there who just got like a huge upset win over Fundura. Like
that's cool.
Sean Porter from the Porter Wave, you know, like his dad Ken Porter was there.
That's
like
sick.
It was so crazy. But like to DJ an event like that, and then the next day like sit with them in like a private movie theater in Vegas watching the fights, like drinks included, you know. So it's like that's gotten me far, like with the whole podcast thing. Like, you know, I've worked for the Boxing Boys podcast and like podcasted for them on and off over the years, and like I've built this relationship with Nestor Gibbs, who's like the head of that. Like, you know, he was just in Jersey. I watched him go to Florida. He signed a super huge deal with a multi-millionaire to go out to Vegas. It was in like a $12 million building. That's Unfortunately, the owner of that company died, but he's like still out there in Vegas, and that deal's a little bit different. But like, like just networking and tying and like producing my own boxing shows. Showed other people that I could help them produce theirs. So like that's been a huge part of the come up. Like I've intertwined both my businesses to help each other.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And I tell a lot of like younger dudes too, that one of the best skills that you can have in general, it doesn't matter if you want to do business or not, this actually is business though. The best skill that you can have is networking. Like in general, if you're able to network yourself, or even better yet, if you can network people together, you know, you're the third party. If you know how to make those connections with people, you'll go so fucking far. Remember last year I told him, I do some work with like different companies or whatever, and then I got him in with this company, Fit Aid, and I told him last year, I was like, use this weekend as your opportunity to network with a bunch of different companies because all the owners are going to be around or whatever. And this year he crushed it. Like he got a bunch of free shit from a bunch of different people. He connected one of our good friends with like 4 different companies, something like that. And like they're actually in contact. They might have like contracts being written up and stuff. But if you're that person that's able to connect different people together, especially people with money and that have like, you know, resources and stuff, bro, that's the best skill ever. You'll get invited into rooms that you've never been invited into. You'll be able to see the back end of business things that you've never been able to see. And that's where I attribute a lot of the things that I'm able to like help with a lot of people is I've been at the back of some deals that people will never know that I was a part of just because of my ability to network.
It's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the head. Like, that's my biggest skill is networking people with other people.
Yeah.
Like, even if it doesn't particularly pertain to my business. And
Doesn't
like,
have to.
And the biggest thing with like success, like people are like, well, how are you making, like, how did you get in this facility? Because like the facility we have in Oak Creek is like, it's the future.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the future of combat sports in Wisconsin, period. Like, it's so big. We have a great team in place.
I gotta come check it out.
And it's like people just don't get, like, my business partner George, I give him a lot of credit. He believes in me. Like, when I wanted to throw a boxing event, I mean, this guy wrote out $15,000 in checks like that because he trusted me.
Yeah.
And I made his money back, and then made him money back every time.
That's
but
sweet.
like, just to have, like, to find people like that who are gonna like have your back, who are gonna trust in your skill set, like, that's a big part of it. Like, you know, it's people don't just like wake up and have a bunch of money.
No.
Like, a lot of times you're finding investors, you're finding people who believe in you.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the people who believe in you, like, most of them aren't even your friends. They're
Yeah.
like people who see your work ethic and your skill and everything like that. You know,
Your friends will never be your biggest supporters. Never, ever. Never.
They always want something free.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
sure. Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like the biggest thing. It's just networking.
Yeah.
It's like networking all these things together and being able to do stuff. And like, that's been the biggest part of my success. Like, getting that podcast, like doing those border wars, launched me into Wisconsin boxing. And like, you know what? Thank God I wasn't part of USA Boxing then.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't too happy with me because the stuff was unsanctioned at the time.
Sure.
But like, we did it through a private business. But like, that launched me and got me into the boxing world and like a lot of respect as far as like being able to throw something and starting an event.
Now you're a name. You're a
Right.
promoter. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like all those things. Like, it's so important. People just don't get that. Like,
For
you know,
sure.
you get it
Yeah.
because you've been there, you've lived it,
Mhm.
and you know how it is. Like, even if you're just connecting other people, if you're that third person, your name's in there.
And your name doesn't get forgotten either. Like,
Exactly.
a lot of times these companies, because mostly what I do is I like have been able to connect companies together so that they can do like giveaways on Instagram or like even in person or whatever. But they don't forget the favors that you do for them sometimes. You know, there's one motherfucker,
Some people are really ungrateful. Like, even when you network and you do things like that, and it's like going through those people, because you're gonna meet those people who, what I call takers. Like, they're always gonna take as long as they can take something away, but they don't necessarily give back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and that's fine too. What I have a problem with is, so my whole deal is that he was gonna do the podcast. When I saw him, I saw his eyes go, oh shit, he's here. You know, like that type of thing. And so I went up to him, or what, he was acting real goofy, like real weird. And I was like, okay, this is super fucking weird. My whole thing is, if you say, especially as a man, you say you're gonna do something, you do it. Or you tell the person straight up, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want to do it. But you don't tiptoe around it, and you don't avoid it. You have to be a man about it.
Don't beat around the bush and beat around the tush.
Exactly. Beat around the tush a little bit. But dude, it just bitch made. I'm just like, dude, like one of my good friends, and it's no harm, no foul. I asked him, he's a business owner, and he doesn't want to do the podcast. There's no bad blood there. There's nothing wrong with that. He just doesn't want to, like, he doesn't think he has a good enough story to tell or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool, fair. No harm, no foul. You don't want to do it. There's literally no bad blood. We're still great friends. I hold nothing against you. But motherfuckers, when they say that they're going to do it, I just feel like they should follow through. And if you don't want to do it, just be honest about it. Say you don't want to do it.
I'm the same. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, like, when people ask me to do something, because it's crazy now. Like, now that I've done these things, the boxing gym, the DJ business, especially. Like I've been doing really well with that.
Yeah, that's
like different events. Like, you know, we've seen each other at events. Like, you know, like actually Nona Nutrition just reached out at me again to do their, you know, their appreciation day in October. You know what I mean? Cool. And I was like, yeah, I know for sure. But it's like, those are people who I know, like, in the past when they first met me, would have never given me that opportunity.
Yeah.
But, like, my work shows for itself.
Yeah.
I show up, I do what I say I'm going to do. And if I can't do something, I don't say I'm going to do it. Like, you know, like, and I'm really careful about that.
Yeah.
When I deal with people, like, if you ask me something, I'm really careful about if I say yes. Because if I say yes, I feel like that's my word.
Yep.
I feel like I need to follow all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like events. Like, I've had people ask me to do certain, like, events, like boxing or this or that. And I'll sit there and go, like, you know what, man? I got a lot going on right now, and I know I can't give the type of focus. It's not like I can't do it. I can't do it right now, and
totally.
I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can even point you, like, in the right direction to someone who can do it just as good, or if not better, or someone who will be adequate for what you need. But, like, yeah, I'm a big person about that too. Like,
that's really good.
Do what you say.
Yeah,
you know?
Dude, do what you say, especially if you're a man. Don't be a bitch about it. Just do what you say, or don't do it at all, and be honest and upfront about it. Let's talk real quick about, like, some of the struggles of, like, the come up, because I, like, you know, like we were talking before the podcast, it's like everybody shows, like, the fucking sunshine and rainbows and shit, but, like, all the, like, awesome, like, I told a little bit of my story before. I was pulling, like, 16, 18-hour days, you know, and doing all that, but, like, people don't see that portion of it. They see that I have a gym. They see, like, my truck or whatever. They see, like, all the, like, stuff that looks cool in my life, not realizing, like, it's a motherfucker. Like, even when you get the cool shit, let's say, like, I know multi-millionaires, like 100 millionaires, right? People are like, must be nice, they got a Ferrari. I'm like, you don't even know the amount of hours that motherfucker still has to put in to deal with the shit. And on your come up too, it's like even worse, because, like, a lot of times you're working basically for free, you know, when you're trying to make a dream happen. What was that like for you?
You know what, to be honest with you, not having shit a lot in my life, made it a little bit easier. But, like, even now, people on social media talking that, like, oh man, we see these pictures of your gyms, and, you know, I have, like, these people come in. I'm like, yeah, but, like, here's the thing, like, you own your house, you drive a nice car, this and that. I'm like, I got a shitty DJ van, I got a shitty car, and I live in a shitty apartment, and, like, bruh, I sleep on a couch.
Yeah.
I'm 39 years old. I sleep on a couch. My kids have their own room in my apartment. I sleep on the couch. I work so much, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
And, like, 2 of my kids aren't even with me all the time. But I make sure that they're comfortable and they have what they need, where it's, like, for my needs. But, like, that's part of the struggle. Like, I live in Watertown. Like, you know, and I'm not bagging on it like that, but, like, I was living in Oconomowoc. 2 completely different places.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying? And, like, the street I even live on, it's nothing but bars, and there's a liquor store, like, CBD shop. There's, like, a bunch of halfway houses around it. Like, it's basically like if there was a ghetto street, like, that's the street I live on.
Sure, yeah.
Which is, it's fine. Like, I'm cool with it. There's some cool stuff on my street that I enjoy, but, like, yeah, man, like, yeah, I'm living my dream, but I'm not rich.
Not yet.
Not yet, right? Yeah. So it depends on what people consider success, right? Like, what do you consider success? Yes, I want all the nice things. I want the nice house. I do want that stuff. But at the end of the day, my real success is getting up and doing what I want to do for myself every day.
On your own terms.
Yep. Like, no one makes my schedule but me. But at the same time, and I know you understand it, like I remember I had an ex, it must be nice to just be able to do what you want during the day. And I'm like, well, I don't get where you're coming at. Like, you go to a regular job or you go to your bartending job. I don't even know what she was doing at the time, but I'm like, I'm always working. Though.
Yeah.
Like, it never turns off.
That you're going to get a paycheck every week. It must be nice that you know it's going to stay consistent every week.
Right. You know,
like, it's just how you flip it, right? Like, yeah, it's sweet that, like, I was just talking to, like, one of my friends about all this stuff. It's like, yeah, dude, like, it's sick that we get to make our own schedules. It's sick that we get to do all this stuff, but at any moment, it could be taken away. And, like, I don't believe that there's such thing as job security in general. That's why I like doing what I do, because, like, and I also get to be the curator of how much money I make or like what the culture is like in the place that I own and stuff like that. But at the same time, it is a much higher risk with probably higher return. But I am the person that's willing to take the risk to see if I can get that return. The other people, they're like, they want the guaranteed income. They want the guaranteed this. They want the, you know, like they're trying to live the fucking white picket fence, like American dream shit. And that's fine.
Well, there's two thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So here's how I look at people. You have different people in business. So you don't think like an hourly employee.
No.
I don't think like an hourly employee.
Right.
I think like an owner.
Yeah.
Right? So when I care about something, what I put into my business, what I put into anything, like even just seeing your podcast set up here, right? Like, because we talked earlier, like me and my business partner want to open up a professional podcast studio.
Yeah.
And once we work the kinks out, we want to open up another one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you care about it. Like,
Yeah.
like if you're at your gym and you see garbage on the floor, you're going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Guess what? An hourly employee will walk past it. An
Yeah.
hourly employee doesn't give a shit about anything except for the trading their time for the money that they're there and leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's that mentality that keeps people docile. It keeps people from, going for their dreams. Because here's the thing. We can do all this and fail and I can go back to an hourly job and do it anytime.
Yeah.
There's plenty of jobs out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so it's okay to fail. And I think that's what most people don't really realize. Dude, it's
Yeah.
okay to fail.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? You feel more shitty when you tell me it must be nice. You feel more shitty because you just don't have the fucking balls
Yeah.
to go out there and try.
Yeah, dude, 1,000%. I mean, the other portion of it is like, you're not always gonna have the balls or the time or the ability to take the risk too, right? That's the other side of the coin. So it's like you might as well do it in your earlier years. Like, you're still young, honestly, in like the grand scheme of life and stuff, right? You're never gonna have. There's gonna be a point where like you're gonna be like not you, but in general with people that they're like, fuck, maybe I should just settle down and maybe I should stick to this job. Like that's the reality of the situation. Is like people. I think first off, you're right. People are really, really scared to fail because they don't want other people to see them fail. They're too worried about what other people are thinking, which is like a whole nother tangent that we can for sure get on. Where I'm like, why do you give a fuck? Like, that person's going to die one day. You're going to die one day. None of it matters. It does matter to God, probably, what you do. But, it doesn't matter in the long scheme whether that person thought you were an idiot for trying or not. But the other portion of it is, yeah, you have to take those risks if you want a better life than the 9-to-5 life. And part of that does come with embarrassment sometimes, But again, like you said, you can always go back to a normal job. That can always happen. You won't always have the resources or the ability to take risks,
Right. No, definitely. It's a big thing where it's like there is a time thing depending on what you're doing. Like for fitness and whatever, there is time. I'm 39, man. I'm gonna be 40. Now most people look at me like, oh man, but you look so young. Yeah, I took care of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I went to like my 20th high school reunion for like an hour.
Okay.
And like honestly, 80% of the people I went to school with I did not recognize. They all looked super
Busted.
old.
Yeah.
But just like, like making money. I've, Lake Country making money, but like old.
Yeah.
Like straight up old. Like I was like sitting there going like, damn man, like we went to school together.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's the thing. Like some of them had like parents that handed down businesses, and like that's my biggest thing too.
Yeah.
Everything I'm doing right now, I can give to my kids because it's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where like a lot of people understand you can't give your 9-to-5 to your kids. You can make a lot of money, you can do whatever, but like it is that risk.
Yeah.
It is that, and you are right. There's an expiration date.
Yeah.
On being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because at some point you're not the entrepreneur. Maybe you saved up a bunch of money and they find you.
Yeah.
Hey man, make this dream happen for me.
Yeah.
But you're not actually doing it. You've just gotten to a point where you have enough funds to
Fund other people.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. What do you think is like the biggest struggle that you've had so far?
I think like for my DJ business, it's consistency, right?
Yeah.
DJing pays decent money, can pay really good money, depending on how much you charge. I'm kind of like middle of the road. Like I don't charge a crazy amount, but I'm not cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that, keeping a very consistent schedule, because that realistically pays more of my bills than boxing, right?
Cool.
And there's so many opportunities. I can do different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can produce boxing shows. I do weddings. I do it all. You know what I mean? With the boxing thing, it's keeping kids focused. It's building, just like anything. It's building membership.
Yeah.
Getting people to pay. Like,
For
you know,
sure.
Boxing's not a rich person's sport.
No.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a lot of these kids are used to going to these gyms that are probably 2 or 3 of these areas with a few bags and this, that, and the other thing, and they're paying like $40 a month. Like, dude, my gyms aren't like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm asking for $95 to $100 a month.
Yeah.
Now, in the grand scheme of things, for a gym, that's not a lot.
No,
it really isn't. Like, that's a deal,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in certain instances, like, it's hard getting the boxing community to like ride with that. Like, Oscar charges that, you know what I mean? And he charges up front, but he's like been in business for so long.
Yeah.
It's just like that's the guy, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's been the biggest thing is like keeping membership in boxing.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like I have to defer, and we've talked before, like where like I started this program called Boxercise, you know, and like the whole thing is like get fit without getting hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so hard to try to get off in Watertown. But I know that I can take that to Oak Creek
Yeah.
and make good money.
Yeah.
I know I talked to you about it,
Mhm.
like, hey, you know, let's work something out and let me offer this program in your space, because I want to see how it's going to do
Yeah.
in a higher income, more health conscious,
Area.
you know?
Yeah.
That's not Watertown. Like,
Right.
you know, you can't get them to pay for anything. Like, and it is what it is. Like, I get, like, that's just a different mentality there. But, like, that's been my biggest struggle. It's like, how do I generate X amount of income doing that without having to, like, run around and personally train and do all these one-on-ones and this and that?
Yeah.
Like, keeping that income coming
Consistent.
in, covering all the bills and the parts that, like, you know, like, I'm responsible for, and then getting to the point where, like, I'm putting money in my pocket.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like, that's
That's
the
the
biggest
hustle,
struggle.
dude.
And, like, marketing and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Boxing's such a small community.
Yeah.
It's a niche sport. People don't want to admit it. It's niche.
Yeah.
You know? UFC's kicking ass and taking names. Their marketing's stellar. Like, they have it
Millions
down.
of
Like,
dollars.
exactly. Like, they're so good at it,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like with boxing, there's so much infighting, this, that, and the other thing that it's like, that's the tough part.
Boxing's getting a little bit better, I feel like, with the YouTubers and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Listen.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, what do you think about Jake Paul?
Yeah.
So I think he's great for boxing.
Yeah.
I think he got women their highest paydays in boxing.
He's a good boxer, dude. Now. You don't think so?
Fuck no.
Dude.
I think
Bro.
listen, I think that he's improved from what he started at,
Yeah.
but no, he's trash, bro.
What? Dude.
Straight up trash.
All right,
I
well,
will
we'll see.
box that dude any day of the week.
We'll see when he, because I think his next fight he wants to fight like a legit boxer.
No, he did fight a legit boxer. He lost.
Yeah.
Tommy Fury.
No, for sure.
And no offense,
Yeah.
like Tommy Fury, trash.
I kind of think so.
Okay?
Actually, when I
This
watched
dude's a
it, yeah.
trash boxer,
Yeah.
right? Jake got beat by the most basic things in boxing.
Yeah.
I will give Jake Paul this. He's got a great 1-2.
Yeah.
He's got a superb overhand right.
Yep.
His defense isn't that great. I'll give him conditioning.
Yeah.
His conditioning is good.
Yeah,
I
for the
give
DS
him
fight.
I do give him respect though.
Yeah.
Like, to be a millionaire and to want to be in the hurt business,
That's tough.
hats off to that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a whole different focus and dedication. But, like, nah, he's trash,
Think
bro.
he's trash?
Like, he's trash. He fights people who are not boxers.
All right, cool. Well, you know, I can't wait to see him like fight a legit boxer. All right, dude. Well, I want to keep you too much longer. Computer's gonna die too. I have a couple questions I ask people at the very end. The first one is, what's like your biggest goal that you have for this next year?
I think my biggest goal this next year is to get Oak Creek off the ground. I mean, we're moving stuff around and really get that to be a place of power for combat sports.
Dope. And what are you willing to sacrifice to make that happen?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I sleep on a couch, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm living the dream, and I'm willing to sleep on a couch and eat ramen noodles to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I feel that. What are you not willing to sacrifice? Is there anything?
I'm not willing to sacrifice things to a point where my kids don't want to be in my life.
That's good.
Trust me, I've worked hard enough to the point where I've had my own son be like, you know, Dad, like come pick me up and just take me to do stuff. I don't want to be around because you're always at work. So I will always make a certain amount of time for my kids. I never miss games. I never whatever. So like no matter what I do, I always make sure that I'm available for my children. That's the only thing that I'm not willing to sacrifice is family.
Dad shit, dude. That's awesome. Cool. Well, hey, man, I really, really do appreciate you being on the pod. Thanks so much for your time. Keep crushing it. I know that if you keep going the way that you're going, you're going to do some big things, and I want you to get in your own bed, dude. You got to get that good sleep.
Yeah, hey, man, trust me, man. I'm looking to get there. That would be nice next year, too.
You will get there, yeah. You will, for sure. I can see it. I know it'll happen. So, I'm proud of you, man. Thanks for being on here.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Cut! That was great, dude.